Hey guys, today we're going to be fixing this iPhone 11 that has a cracked screen. We're going to be replacing the screen on it. I got this iPhone 11 in my last lot of phones for like $35, so we're going to be replacing this screen. And I have a iPhone 11 aftermarket screen from Injured Gadgets here. By the way, don't buy from Injured Gadgets. I'm not going to buy from them anymore because their return policy is just super crappy. So if you buy something and it's broken, then you still have to pay return shipping on it, and you also have to like pass an inspection. It's just ridiculous. Don't buy from them. Their return policy is just really crappy, so it's not worth the couple bucks that it saves. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you want to take out these bottom two pentalobe screws. So to do that, you're going to need a pentalobe screwdriver, and that you're going to need the 0.8mm version. So I have that right here. And once you have those bottom screws out, then you need to just turn the phone off. I need to heat up the display to remove it. I'm also going to take this piece of tape off. I don't think this is necessarily the best method, but what I do to heat up the screen is I have this heater here, and I just turn this on, and this just gets really hot, and that heats up the front of the screen, and the heat will loosen up the adhesive that holds on the screen, so that way I can take it off. I just leave this on here for a couple minutes like this. Once you have the phone heated up, and it should feel hot to the touch, it should be kind of hard to hold, then what you need to do is you need to take a suction cup and lift up on the screen to attempt to create a gap by the charging port here. You may also want gloves because the phone is so hot. I'm burning myself on it, as you can see. And there you can see I was able to successfully create a gap on that corner. This is way harder on the iPhone 12 and newer to do this. But once you have that gap, you can slide the pick all the way around the phone to release the screen. And there we go. As we can see, you can see this is our first look inside the iPhone. This is what it looks like. And you can see the screen does still work even after the removal process. It is a little bit more damage around that top part there, but we're going to be replacing this screen, so that doesn't matter. If you don't want to have to hold the screen up during the entire repair, you can put something like a bottle behind the screen and that will hold it up for you. The first thing you need to do once you are inside here is disconnect the battery, and that will remove all power from the phone, so it won't short anything out while you're inside here. To do that, you are going to need a specialized Y bit. This is a Y 0.6mm bit. You need to remove these three screws from this shield underneath the screen ribbon cables. I believe all three of these screws are the same, so it shouldn't matter where they go. And then you can just disconnect this battery connector like this. Next thing you need to do is you need to take out all of these screws off of this panel. Once you have the screws out, you can just lift that panel off. Then the next thing you need to do is you can just go ahead and disconnect these three screen cables right here. And then in this next step, you have to be really careful, is you have to disconnect this earpiece cable, because if you still have working Face ID, that will stop working if you mess that up. Oh, that's not right. Okay, it's this cable. Sorry, that's the camera cable. And then that is the screen. And take that off. I'll just reconnect that camera. Don't need to disconnect that. And then you have your screen off. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the new screen out. And because this is an injured gadget screen and they sometimes don't work, I'm going to go ahead and test this screen now. Sometimes these devices will not boot until they are plugged into power with the cable. Sometimes you have to plug them in. And it looks like this screen is at least somewhat working. And as we can see, this screen looks pretty good. Surprisingly, I don't see any unknown part messages yet. And there we go, display not recognized. If you want to fix this display not recognized issue, you have to have a special programmer that is extremely expensive. So I'm not going to be reprogramming this screen. This does seem to be working as it should be. Obviously the screen is an unknown part, but that is okay. Alright, so I bought this display a long time ago for another iPhone 11 that I was just going to fix up cheaply for a customer, but then that customer flaked out and didn't actually want their phone fixed. And this screen is absolutely terrible quality. So this screen, I can literally count the pixels. It is really bad. So I'm not going to be using this screen on this phone. I'm going to go ahead and install it for now because I can't get my money back for this screen. I can't return it. But I am hopefully going to eventually get an OEM screen for this. I'm going to go ahead and sleep the phone first. And then I'll disconnect the battery again and the screen ribbon cables. So to get Face ID working again on this phone, you need to transfer over this original earpiece cable. So to do that, you're just going to want to take the screws out of this. These are actually Phillips, so you just need a Phillips PH000. After those 3 screws are out, I think there's another one still. Yeah, there's a Y bit. There's a Y screw right there. And then you can go ahead and lift it up and fold this down this way. You may need to use some heat for this. Last time I repaired this, I didn't use any heat and it was fine. There is a little bracket right here that you need to remove. Using tweezers would probably be better. I'm going to grab onto this bracket and then that has to come up. And there we go, you can see that's the earpiece bracket that covers over some sensor. Alright, so in order to get this earpiece speaker off, I'm just going to kind of pull it out. Okay, that was kind of a close one, but I think I got it out now. Okay, there we go. This is what it should look like. It's got these 3 like little sensors on there. And I just want to inspect the displays and make sure that there isn't anything else that I'm missing from up there that needs to be transferred over. Okay, so I think we have everything off of the old screen that we need then. And then I'm just going to go ahead and install this onto the new screen. Alright, and then there you can see the earpiece speakers reinstalled and screwed down. That means that the new screen is ready to be installed onto the phone now. Now, because I'm going to be putting a different screen on this iPhone eventually, because this iPhone is a pretty nice iPhone, so this screen is not really good enough for it, I'm not going to be replacing this waterproof seal around the edge, so I'm just going to leave the old one in place. But normally, you would want to get all of the adhesive off the edge of the phone and install this new seal. I'm also going to go ahead and try to clean up the edge of this phone a little bit because it is pretty dirty. Alright, so I forgot to mention this at the beginning of the video, but the actual most fragile part of Face ID is this little component right here. If you can see it, let me go ahead and just point to it with something. It's this component right here, that shiny rainbow looking thing. That is called the dot projector, and that breaks all the time, and if that breaks, Face ID will never work again unless you take it to Apple. But on this phone, it's actually really crazy because, as you can see, the crack on the screen is literally directly over the dot projector, and somehow that didn't break. So it's absolutely amazing that this phone still has Face ID. Like, literally, I don't know how that's possible, but I mean, like, this thing always breaks. I mean, you can break your screen in a completely different place, not even near Face ID, and this will break. But somehow on this phone, amazingly, that is still good. So the next thing I'm going to do is, since this phone it did have kind of like a hole in the screen, I'm going to go ahead and clean up these front cameras. So now I think everything is clean. Okay, so I did want to put the original screen on one more time to look at it. And you can see we did actually damage the LCD just a tiny bit when we took it off. But that's just pretty much unavoidable due to how cracked this screen is. It does kind of suck because it means if I wanted to send this screen in to get it refurbished, they wouldn't do that now because the LCD is actually cracked. So now I'm just going to put this new screen on. Okay, so once that bracket is installed, I can just go ahead and connect the battery, and then go ahead and install the bracket for that, like this. And then I can go ahead and install the three screws for that. Alright, and there you can see, this is what it should look like once it's done. We got all those brackets installed with all of their proper screws. And then before I go ahead and close it up, make sure that it is still working. Now you can see turning on the phone, and as you can see now the Face ID message is gone. It does still say the display is unknown, but that's expected. So now I can go ahead and close the phone up. And then once the display is seated down in, we can go ahead and then reinstall our bottom two pentalobe screws. And we're done. Now we have a iPhone 11 with a good screen. Get that peel. Yeah, that's nice. So this screen is definitely a lower resolution than the original. I heard that you couldn't actually get to the highest brightness level on iOS 18 if you had an aftermarket screen, but the brightness is working fine and True Tone is available. So I don't know if they've actually changed something in iOS 18 to allow you to use the screen like it's original, and I'll just go ahead and make sure that Face ID is working. It looks like it is. Oh wow, look at that. That is really interesting. On camera, as you can see, it looks like there's a giant purple beam shooting out of this phone. That's not there in real life at all. I can't see that. I mean, like, I can't see that at all in real life. That's not there. That's crazy. Alright, so I got it set up. I'm just going to see if it works. Yeah, Face ID, it definitely seems to work better with this new screen. I'm going to go ahead and test the front camera because that was blurry before, and yeah, you can see that front camera is perfectly clear now. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video with a phone lot. I purchased a lot with 2 iPhones and a Windows phone for like $13, so that will be what the next video is about. So I will see you guys then.